Good morning, Rabotai. Today, Chavchet Becheshvan is the Hilulah of Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan, one of the great Moroccan Chachamim and Dayanim, that it's worthy to just to speak a little bit about him and about his contribution to the Torah world. Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan was born in the year around 1846. He was born, and he was from the dynasty of the Iben Danan family. Just to understand, there was already one of the first Rabbanim that wrote Takanot in Morocco. The first generation Megurashim, and then the second generation also was Rabbi Shmuel Iben Danan. Rabbi Shmuel Iben Danan wrote a lot of. He was one of the first that wrote that Kibalnu Horat Maran. We accepted the Horat Maran, one of the earliest writings. This is already in the 1500s, not long after the Girush Sfarad. So this was a dynasty of Rabbanim, the Iben Danan family. They have a tradition that that it's all the way back from the Rambam. There's others that say that it wasn't written in their ketubot that way, but it's definitely a yichus of a family that has been for generations and generations. Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan was one of the particular geonim that was niftar more or less recently. He was born in 1846 when he already was a young boy, 18 years old. He knew all of Gemara, Poskim, and Kabbalah already. He was already proficient in it all, and he started teaching already at that age. He was known for his tremendous analytic mind and strength in psak halacha. When he was 27 years old, he went with his uncle. His uncle was Rabbi Iben Danan, who wrote a very important sefer called Leitzchak Reach. I quote it many, many times. Leitzchak Reach, Rabbi Iben Danan. They went together, both of them, to visit Eretz Yisrael. They both went to visit Eretz Yisrael, but he came back already after a few years. He returned. They didn't stay there. And when he came back to Fez already, it was Tafresh Lamed Chet, when he was already 30 years old, he was appointed to be a Dayan. Now this is what's interesting. He became more and more famous, and that's where he wrote his important works, the Sefer Asher Li Shlomo and Shelot U'Tshuvot Bikesh Shlomo. His name, Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan, he was known all over. They used to call him HaMelech Shlomo, the King Shlomo, because he was so respected, so well respected and great. So when the French government really started getting involved in Morocco, and they started for the first time appointing one general court and chief rabbi in Morocco, and that was in the capital city of Rabat in the mid 1900s, between 1910 and 1920, around this was more or less Tafresh Ayin Tet, which was 1919. So Rabbi Raphael Ankawa was the appointed person to be the chief rabbi of Morocco. But Rabbi Raphael Ankawa, in his tremendous humility, listen to this, Rabotai, in his tremendous humility, he said, I cannot sign a document before the Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan. He becomes the chief rabbi first, and then, he's the chief rabbi. So he really put Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan to serve with him, or to serve even in front of him, until Rav Vidal Tzarfati in Fez, who was the chief rabbi, who was the Av Bedin of Fez, was niftar. Then Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan moved back to the city of his forefathers, and he assumed the position of Av Bedin. I mentioned to you that I was working on the writings of the Bedin of the Fez of the 1920s, so I saw the overlap between Rabbi Didia Monsonego, Rabbi Vidal Tzarfati, and Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan. The other two Dayanim were Rabbi Matatyahu Serrero and Rabbi Aaron Bodbol, and the amount of respect that the other Dayanim or everyone gave to Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan was awesome. And sometimes you would come across Piskei Dinim, regular Piskei Dinim. He would write 4 or 5 pages, just really, going in depth and in breadth and in a way of geonut that you wouldn't imagine. In the year Tafresh Pebet, which is 1922, he became his wife, his daughter Fricha became sick. That he went to the city of Marseille to see if he could heal her, and that didn't work. His daughter died, and his wife died because of the great tsar that she had because of her daughter. So he didn't have an easy life. In the year Tafresh Petet, which is 1929, by Kol Nidre, he skipped the words Miyom Kippurim Hazeh leYom Kippurim haba alenu letova, and already it was a siman min hashamayim that he wasn't going to live the year. He didn't mention until the next year, and he was niftar. So just to give a little bit of contribution, I'll end with this, is that Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan in Sefer Asher Lishlomo has very important Piskei Dinim of Choshen Mishpat. It was recently reprinted. Reprinted, and there he writes, Rabbi Shlomo Iben Danan in Siman Bet, about the klalim of Piskei Hora'at Maran according to Moroccan Rabbanim. And there was a big question over there how to write the get and whether the get should have been whether the get should have been written or not. I like the opinion of Shulchan Aruch. So I just want to quote his language, so his memory should be with us. He writes like this: there are those who say that we say a double safek, a safek sefeka against